Story 1. My name is Alex, and I've always been a nature enthusiast. Camping has been my way of reconnecting with the world outside the hustle and bustle of the city. But a particular camping trip to the secluded Misty Valley would forever change the way I saw the serenity of the great outdoors. It was a warm summer's day when my friends and I arrived at the Misty Valley camping ground. Nestled deep in the heart of a dense forest, the site was renowned for its breathtaking views and tranquil atmosphere. We set up our tents near a babbling brook, eager to unwind and escape the demands of our daily lives. As the day drew to a close, the forest became cloaked in a thick mist, shrouding our campsite in an ethereal haze. We gathered around the campfire, regaling each other with tales of adventure and daring escapades. The mist lent an eerie ambience to our surroundings, but we paid it no mind, eager to enjoy our night in the wilderness. But as the night deepened, strange occurrences began to unsettle us. A chilling wind picked up, howling through the trees in an otherworldly symphony. The mist seemed to take on a life of its own, swirling and shifting as if guided by some unseen force. We laughed nervously, trying to dismiss our growing unease. But when one of our tents began to rattle as if being shaken by an invisible hand, our laughter turned to fear. We huddled closer together, our eyes scanning the darkness for any sign of an intruder. The mist coalesced into shifting shapes, dancing on the edge of our vision. Whispers seemed to drift on the wind, unintelligible and haunting. Mark, the most level-headed of us, suggested it was all a trick of the mind, a result of our overactive imaginations. But then we heard the laughter, a child's laughter that seemed to emanate from the heart of the forest. It was a joyous sound, but it sent a chill down our spines, for we knew there were no children in the vicinity. We exchanged worried glances, our instincts screaming at us to flee, to escape the clutches of the Misty Valley before it was too late. Against our better judgment, we decided to investigate. Equipped with flashlights, we ventured into the mist-shrouded forest, our steps guided by the distant laughter. The air grew colder, and the once familiar landscape became a labyrinth of twisted trees and gnarled roots. The laughter led us deeper into the heart of the forest, its source remaining tantalizingly out of reach. We stumbled through the underbrush, our hearts pounding in our chests, each step echoing in the silence of the night. The mist enveloped us, obscuring our vision and distorting the very fabric of reality. It wasn't long before we stumbled upon an old, abandoned cabin nestled among the trees. The wood was weathered and worn, and the windows were boarded up, casting the cabin into an ominous darkness. The child's laughter seemed to be coming from within, muffled and distant. We approached the cabin cautiously, our flashlights casting weak beams that barely pierced the thick mist. The door was ajar, creaking on its hinges as if inviting us inside. Against our better judgment, we entered, our minds reeling with a mix of trepidation and morbid curiosity. The interior of the cabin was musty and dimly lit, the air heavy with the scent of decay and neglect. Cobwebs hung from the ceiling, and the floorboards creaked under our weight. We could still hear the distant laughter, its sound echoing through the desolate rooms, leading us deeper into the cabin's gloomy interior. Our flashlights flickered, threatening to plunge us into darkness. Shadows danced on the walls, taking on sinister shapes that seemed to reach out for us. We felt as though we were being watched, as though the very walls of the cabin had eyes that followed our every move. A sudden gust of wind slammed the door shut behind us, sealing us within the cabin's oppressive embrace. The laughter grew louder, reverberating off the walls in an eerie cacophony. We exchanged terrified glances, our minds racing with thoughts of escape and survival. Hours passed, each one more unbearable than the last. The laughter had melded into a symphony of torment, as if the very essence of the cabin was reliving a long-forgotten tragedy. We huddled together, our only solace the feeble warmth of our dwindling flashlight beams. Just as we were about to succumb to despair, the laughter ceased, and an oppressive silence settled over the cabin. The air crackled with an otherworldly energy, and we felt a presence looming over us, its gaze heavy with malice and intent. We dared not move, dared not even breathe, for fear of inviting the wrath of whatever entity had taken us captive. Time lost all meaning as we waited, our minds consumed by a primal fear that threatened to consume us whole. It was then that we heard the footsteps, a soft, measured tread that seemed to come from all directions. Shadows danced on the walls, their forms indistinct and foreboding. We huddled closer together, our senses on high alert, our hearts pounding in our chests. The footsteps grew closer, their rhythm steady and relentless. We could feel the presence drawing near, its intentions unfathomable and terrifying. With no other choice, we braced ourselves for whatever horror awaited us, our minds racing with thoughts of survival and escape. But then, as suddenly as it had begun, the haunting presence dissipated, leaving us alone in the desolate cabin. The oppressive silence was broken only by our ragged breaths and the sound of our pounding hearts. We dared not linger, knowing that the forest's grip was as relentless as it was unforgiving. With a newfound determination, we burst through the cabin's door and into the mist-shrouded night. The trees loomed over us, their branches swaying in the chilling wind. We ran, our footsteps echoing through the forest, each of us acutely aware of the unseen forces that pursued us. The mist seemed to thicken, enveloping us in a ghostly embrace that threatened to swallow us whole. We dared not look back, fearing the horrors that lurked in the shadows, waiting to claim us as their own. Our only goal was to escape the clutches of the misty valley, to leave behind the horrors that had consumed our campsite and threatened to consume us along with it. As we stumbled out of the forest, we saw the first light of dawn breaking through the mist. The air was crisp and cool, and the trees stood silent sentinels, their secrets locked away within their gnarled trunks. We never returned to Misty Valley, nor did we speak of the horrors we had witnessed that fateful night. But the memories lingered, a testament to the enduring legacy of the forest and the mysteries that lay hidden within its mist-shrouded depths. Story 2. I have always been a nature lover, finding solace in the great outdoors. But one fateful camping trip to the infamous Phantom Trail would forever alter my perception of the wilderness. My friends and I, fueled by a sense of adventure, decided to embark on a weekend camping trip to Phantom Trail, a renowned hiking spot notorious for its ghostly legends and eerie happenings. Despite the warnings from the locals, we set out, eager for a taste of the supernatural that the trail purportedly offered. As we delved deeper into the forest, the trees seemed to close in around us, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. The air grew colder, and an ominous mist settled over the trail, shrouding our surroundings in an ethereal haze. We laughed nervously, trying to shake off the feeling of unease that had settled over us like a dark cloud. But our laughter soon turned to fear when we heard the sound of disembodied footsteps trailing behind us. We quickened our pace, our hearts pounding in our chests, each of us acutely aware of the unseen presence that pursued us. The mist thickened, distorting our vision and casting the trail into an otherworldly gloom. Shadows danced on the edges of our sight, taking on sinister shapes that seemed to leer at us from the darkness. We exchanged worried glances, our instincts urging us to turn back before it was too late. But something compelled us to press on, to unravel the mystery that lay hidden within the heart of Phantom Trail. The forest seemed to come alive, its ancient secrets awakening as we ventured deeper into its depths. A sense of foreboding settled over us, but we were powerless to resist the pull of the unknown. As we navigated the twisting path, we heard a mournful wail that seemed to echo through the trees. It was a sound that chilled us to the bone, a sound that spoke of unspeakable sorrow and despair. We huddled closer together, our senses on high alert, our minds racing with thoughts of escape and survival. The trail seemed to stretch on endlessly, each bend leading us further away from the safety of civilization. The mist took on a life of its own, coalescing into shifting shapes that seemed to whisper of forgotten tragedies and restless spirits. We felt as though we were being watched, as though the very essence of the forest was observing our every move. Hours passed, each one more unbearable than the last. The sound of footsteps had grown louder and more insistent, as if urging us to uncover the truth that lay hidden within the heart of Phantom Trail. We dared not speak, dared not even breathe, for fear of inviting the wrath of whatever malevolent force had claimed the trail as its own. It was then that we saw it, a figure, indistinct and ethereal, drifting among the trees. Its eyes gleamed with an otherworldly light, and its voice resonated in our minds, recounting tales of tragedy and loss that had consumed the very trail we now stood upon. We were frozen in place, unable to resist the pull of the forest's malevolent energy. The figure beckoned to us, its hand outstretched in a silent invitation. We knew then that we were doomed, destined to become a part of Phantom Trail's eternal song, a song of despair and longing that echoed through the ages, a testament to the enduring legacy of the forest and the horrors that lay within its heart. With no other choice, we followed the figure deeper into the heart of the trail, our minds consumed by a sense of resignation and despair. The mist seemed to part before us, revealing a desolate clearing that seemed to exist outside the realm of time and space. At the center of the clearing stood an ancient, gnarled tree, its branches twisted and contorted like the limbs of a tortured soul. The air was heavy with an otherworldly energy, and the ground trembled beneath our feet. The figure dissolved into the darkness, leaving us alone in the heart of Phantom Trail. The trail itself seemed to pulse with an unholy power, as if drawing us closer to its enigmatic core, where the secrets of the forest and the mysteries of the beyond converged. We dared not linger, knowing that the forest's grip was as relentless as it was unforgiving. With a newfound determination, we turned and fled, our footsteps echoing through the clearing, each one a desperate plea for salvation and escape. As we burst through the edge of the forest, we saw the first light of dawn breaking through the mist. The air was crisp and cool, and the trees stood silent sentinels, their secrets locked away within their gnarled trunks. We never returned to Phantom Trail, nor did we speak of the horrors we had witnessed that fateful night. But the memories lingered, a reminder of the enduring legacy of the forest and the mysteries that lay hidden within its ethereal depths. Story 3. I am Rachel, and my love for the outdoors has always been tempered with a healthy respect for its mysteries. But nothing could have prepared me for the spine-chilling terror that awaited us in the heart of Blackwood Hollow. Blackwood Hollow had a reputation for untold secrets and unexplained phenomena. My friends and I arrived at the campsite, drawn by the allure of its rugged beauty and the promise of an unforgettable adventure. As night fell, a palpable sense of foreboding settled over the forest. The trees swayed in the evening breeze, their branches creaking like the bones of ancient sentinels. We gathered around the campfire, its crackling embers providing a modicum of comfort in the encroaching darkness. But as the night deepened, a mournful sound echoed through the hollow, chilling us to the core. It was a lament that seemed to emanate from the very soul of the forest, an anguished cry that spoke of long-forgotten tragedies and restless spirits. We exchanged uneasy glances, our laughter subdued by the haunting wail that seemed to surround us. The fire cast flickering shadows on the trees, their forms dancing in macabre patterns that mirrored the unsettling rhythm of the lament. Driven by a mix of curiosity and trepidation, we ventured into the darkness, our flashlights piercing the gloom like beacons of hope. The forest loomed around us, its secrets hidden in the inky blackness that enveloped the hollow. The lament grew bolder, its echoes bouncing off the gnarled trunks and reverberating through the night. We followed the sound, each step a silent tribute to the mysteries that lay hidden within the heart of Blackwood Hollow. The trees seemed to whisper amongst themselves, their voices carrying a sense of urgency that belied the serene facade of the forest. Shadows flitted at the edge of our vision, taking on ghostly forms that seemed to materialize from the very fabric of the night. We pressed on, our breaths visible in the chill air, our senses heightened by the eerie melody that guided us deeper into the heart of the woods. The lament seemed to lead us to a small clearing, bathed in the silvery light of the moon. A figure materialized before us, its form shrouded in darkness, its presence suffused with an otherworldly aura. It beckoned to us, its voice a haunting echo that resonated in our bones. We stood transfixed, unable to resist the pull of the entity that now stood before us. The lament reached a crescendo, weaving a tapestry of despair and longing that spoke of forgotten tragedies and restless spirits. We felt as though we were being drawn into a world beyond our understanding, a world where the boundaries between the living and the dead were blurred and malleable. A sense of foreboding settled over us, and we knew we had to leave the clearing before it consumed us. With a renewed determination, we turned and fled, our footsteps echoing through the night, each one a desperate plea for escape and salvation. As we stumbled out of the forest at dawn, we saw the first light breaking through the trees. The air was crisp and cool, and the trees stood silent sentinels, their secrets locked away within their gnarled trunks. We never spoke of the horrors we had witnessed that fateful night at Blackwood Hollow. But the memories lingered, a testament to the enduring legacy of the wilderness and the mysteries that lay hidden within its ethereal embrace.